Before we jump into today's episode, here's a quick heads up. If you've been looking for practical ways to grow your business using AI alongside other entrepreneurs who are doing it right now, check out the Millionaire University AI Mastermind. It's a community where we share what's working, test new AI tools together, and help each other implement them faster. You can learn more and lock in your founding member rate at millionaireuniversity.com/AI. Now let's dive into today's topic. What if you could take work that normally costs $150 an hour and get it done for $6 an hour by pairing a virtual assistant with AI? Brien Wimpey is back with us to share how he's using VAs, AI, and automation to scale Tip-Top Canine to 29 locations across the country with an average revenue of over $600,000. We're breaking down the systems he's automating, the custom software that he vibe coded to save thousands in development costs, and why he says most entrepreneurs are actually using AI to stay busy instead of making money. Brien Wimpey of Tip-Top Canine in Tulsa, Oklahoma, he is back with us on the Millionaire University Podcast. And Ryan, what is it that we're going to learn today?
What is up, Brian? Glad to be back, man. Well, I just want to talk about kind of what's been happening with Tip-Top in the last year, how we've been using AI and virtual assistants. We've been vibe coding some stuff. We have also been not letting our people just mess around nonstop with AI. And then I would say, finally, we've had a massive push on management. We've even brought in a high-level operations manager to headquarters. So a lot's been going on, man.
Heck yeah, man. That's when I'm excited to have you back. We've got a lot to talk about. I want to start by getting your update on how Tip-Top has been doing. And then that's right, we're going to be talking about VAs, how you guys use them in the age of AI, and also cracking that whip to make sure that your people are using it the right way and being the most productive that they can be for their franchise. So let's start at the top. Tell us, what's Tip-Top Canine and where's the business at today?
Absolutely. So currently we have 29 open locations across the US. We got 3 more in the works right now. Our average unit volume last year was $612,190.
And this is dog training, right?
This is dog training.
All right.
In the dog training space, I haven't seen anyone's print numbers with a higher average than that.
Okay. All right.
So as far as dog training goes, we're selling a lot of dog training, Brian, and we're doing pet obedience. So you got the dog that runs out the house, pulls on the leash, jumps on the kids, knocks over grandma. That's what we do. Okay. All pet obedience, manners, and aggression.
Gotcha. Okay. So when did you start this business? How did you get into it?
Yeah, so I started it in 2010. I got into it because I had a dog that I loved and everyone else hated. It was wrecking havoc in my personal relationships. I started in 2010. That situation actually happened 4 years before that. And it just got me obsessed with dog training. I knew there has to be something I can do to help this little guy. And I just got involved in multiple different methods of training. Eventually, fast forward, came up with worked with other trainers and then slowly came up with our method of classical conditioning that we use today with an e-collar. And it gets very quick results. In 2 to 4 weeks, I'm fixing 95% of people's issues, getting all the obedience in place, and then transferring it to mom and dad. And we're able to serve a lot of clients, help a lot of dogs. On the franchise side, I'm able to, we just had someone finish our franchise training. In 6 weeks, I'm able to train someone how to do this business. And then we support them with a call center and with full marketing suite. And then they learn how to sell dog training and train dogs. And then we kind of support them along the way. And that's our franchise concept.
Wow. Okay. So you're franchising now. How large is the franchise?
So we currently have 29 units that are open.
29. All right. And across how many states?
It's across 13 states.
13 states. That's incredible. So first of all, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you, sir. I'm trying.
How long were you in business before you recognized the possibility to franchise?
We were in business for quite a while. So it was 2010, I'm starting Tip-Top Canine. In 2017, we started licensing. We started growing to 6 extra stores, but they were corporate stores. And then we had 6 corporate stores for 2 years. And then 2019, we started franchising. So we've been franchising now for about 7 years.
Okay. And what led to that decision to get in the franchise? Because I feel like this answer is different for every franchisor that I've talked to. What made it make sense for you?
Well, what made franchising make sense for us is just the fact that the bar to open your own dog training business is very, very low, right? Brien, your mom could go hang the shingle, build a website, say I'm a dog trainer.
Yep.
No certifications needed, etc. So if we have our corporate stores, at some point, someone almost wants equity to stay. So if we're going to give them equity, why don't we just give them all the equity and then they just stay forever?
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that when you put it that way, yeah, hey, maybe I will stick around forever because I've got 100% equity in here. Okay. So was it easy to get into franchising? Did you need a coach? Did you need a mentor? Did you read a book?
It's
How'd you do
terribly
it?
hard. It is painfully hard. The biggest thing you need to get into franchising is an attorney. So the franchise attorney building your FDD or your franchise disclosure document and your franchise agreement. So that could be 240 pages. And then you have an operations manual on top of that. That could be 300 pages. So 550 pages of documents that are actually legit, not like AIBS, but that someone can actually take and run a business and that can hold up in court, et cetera. There's a lot of legality. So most of the time, just to get that franchise agreement and FDD off the ground is around $200,000.
Wow.
I mean, they can go to 400,000, but just to get launched. So we ran 6 corporate stores for 2 years to fund that and to make sure the model actually worked before, because you don't want to spend 200 grand, Brien, and then be like, the model didn't really work.
No, certainly don't want to do that. That'd be a no-no.
Right.
Wow. Okay. So you get into franchising, business is going well. You're across 13 states now, 29 stores. Your job and your day-to-day must be completely different than it was, 10 years ago, especially when you're getting into franchising. Every franchisor that I've ever talked to, they said it is a completely different business model, is a completely different mindset. You become a manager of people, a coach, a therapist, a manager, and everything, right? You go from an operator to a leader. And when you cross kind of that threshold, what was that transition like for you?
So it was hard because what got me into dog training was my passion for dogs, right? I'm passionate about dogs, passionate about seeing the change in their behaviors, changing people's lives. The dogs now are back a part of the family. They don't get put down, stuff like that. And so it was hard to kind of let go of some of that and manage the people. But in any service-based business, if you learn how to do your craft and you learn how to sell and you're able to get leads with marketing, the next biggest constraint is you managing people in a team. So luckily for me, I could do those 3. My wife is an exceptional manager and she's good at managing people. Very, very good. We also just brought on an operations manager who manages multiple teams at corporate as well. So that's able to get me back out and do what I do best, and basically constraint busting, whether it's leads, sales at the different locations, marketing, etc.
So, and this leads us into our more focused topic today of how you guys use virtual assistants in the age of AI and how you use it across your management teams. So let's start there. At your corporate offices, how many people are part of the team at Tip Top?
Yeah, so at our corporate store in Tulsa, we have about 32 people.
Okay, 32
Split
people.
half dog training, half call center and marketing team.
Okay, got it. All right, so you're the master here. I'm throwing the mic to you. Let's talk about how you're using these VAs, these AI VAs, I guess. Is that kind of how they operate? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so we're doing some crazy stuff lately. So we've been using virtual assistants, Philippines or India for a long time, right? Right now, though, we've been moving different in the Philippines. So what's happened is a lot of high-level virtual assistants in the Philippines have been let go because companies are automating stuff with AI. So for $5, $6 an hour, you can now hire people that have worked in big corporate companies that are very technologically advanced. They have master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, etc. And you can hire them for $5, $6 an hour. I can pair them then with a Claude ChatGPT subscription, and I have someone that's able to learn and produce at a high scale for a very low dollar volume. So what that looks like is we took all of our paper checklists. One of the things we do at Tip Top is boot camps. I take dogs, we have them for 2 to 4 weeks, we fully train them, and then we go back and train mom and dad. And I have each dog, I may have 30 dogs at my shop, right? Each one has 5 pieces of paper attached to them. So 150 pieces of paper are floating at any time. It's crazy. So we want to digitize that, obviously. and make it to where as people scale to multiple locations, they can track it all from one location.
So when you say like a paper on it, like a name tag?
No, I mean like a tracking paper on this is his checklist for feeding.
Okay.
This is his medication checklist. This is his training checklist. This was his intake checklist that he came in at. And then here's his weekly weight checklist where we're monitoring his weight, right?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we had a VA spend 300 hours building a application on Smart Suites, which is like a database program. Then I took that, kicked it to a guy who charges $160 an hour. And in 20 hours, he built a program we could use, right? So we paid for 2 VAs to actually get certified in this program. Everyone that works on this program basically charges $150 to $250 an hour. And after kicking it to the guy, him doing stuff, my new VA gets certified. She can now do for $6 an hour the work of my $150 an hour guy.
Wow.
Because she spent 3 weeks getting certified at $46 an hour, 40 hours a week. She's now making automations with Zapier or Make.com with Claude. I'm able to do a lot more with a lot less. And then what that enables me or my team, the executive team, to do is stay focused on stuff that actually move the needle. So another one, we have all these spreadsheets to check for call center, for how many outbound calls, how many inbound calls. All of our dashboards basically that were manually made for marketing, etc. Those are now automated, but I had someone spend 2.5 weeks automating them, and it was not me, and it was none of my team. It was the VA. So instead of me paying someone that's $25 an hour, sitting there, and then they're getting interrupted nonstop as well because they're in the office space, we're using that VA plus AI, and we're getting really good results. And it's saving a lot of money, and it's keeping our core team focused on what they do best.
Wow. Okay. So can you shed some light on perhaps numbers on how much it's helping save you in terms of time and dollars?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So some of our dashboards were taking 5 to 10 hours a week, every single week. And those are now 100% automated because someone spent 2.5 weeks. And now what someone in the US was taking 5 to 10 hours a week is 100% automated. As far as being able to instantly pull text threads, call threads out of a software and be able to grade people, now that's instantly automated too. I put in a name, out pops one of the call center reps' information. And now they're working on, hey, we have all these, we have Google calendars, and they've been the last 2 weeks making an automation where when a trainer texts in, hey, can you put Mr. Jones next Friday at 2? It reads it, it writes it, it's flowing completely, human out of the loop. But all that's being done with our VAs right now with oversight, right? And then obviously we're checking in stuff like that, but stuff that I would be paying someone $40 an hour plus to actually do in the US.
Wow. Okay. So you're saying that in that example, it was scheduling someone at 2:00. So someone like emailed in, the AI read the email and said, I'd like to schedule at 2:00 on Thursday. And like that whole process got automated. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So that's what we're working on automating right now.
Okay.
Currently, whatever's eating time, that's what we're starting to try to automate. And if it can't right now, but if it can, we're doing it. So some of it like that, is it going to work 100%? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm looking at it. I'm looking at like $180 a week to try to automate it.
Wow.
Like $6 an hour times 40, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe 240. Maybe my math is not mathing, but still.
But so essentially you're hiring, so what you're saying is you hire a VA to go build out the SOP on a Claude or a chat for whatever the task is. You pay them, they train it, you check it, you verify it, and you no longer have to pay them because it was a 2 or 3 week project, and then it's automated and you just someone who's already on the team or someone you pay $5 or $6 an hour.
I'm keeping them. I'm just handing them the next project.
You're just handing them the next project. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so
because here's what happens. So with my team, I'm trying to be like, hey, look, you building stuff is not you working. Work is one thing. Work is output. So for my team, my US-based team, are you moving the needle? Are we making more money? Are we getting more leads? Are we selling more dog training? Are we selling locations? If we're not doing one of those 4 things and your job is not impacting one of those 4 things, you are not working. So if my team spends 2 weeks building all these beautiful dashboards and everything else, and it does not move the needle in one of those ways, they are not working. So anything that is not an actual income producing activity outside of the finance function, I need to get it as low cost as I humanly possibly can.
Yeah. And it's automated once and it's ready to roll.
Yeah. Let's go.
So can you give me off the top of your head, like a quick master list of all the things that you've automated to date, or anything you can think of at least?
Yeah. So as far as our call center dashboards and marketing dashboards, that was 5 to 10 hours a week. Now for operations manager and Rachel, who do all the coaching with the locations, all the QuickBooks revenue from all the locations is now in one dashboard comparing month to month. So instead of logging in to 28 different locations, checking what they got, putting it in a spreadsheet next to their last month, that's now automated. So as far as numbers to coach people on their sales, numbers to coach people on revenue or expenses, all that, which could easily be another 5 to 10 hours a week, that's now been 100% automated too. Our marketing team has like our Google Ads, LSA, stuff like that. They're pulling those into dashboards too, so they can kick it right to the coach as well.
Wow.
So as much as they can, anything that's like a number that's consistently checked, we're putting that into automated workflows with dashboards.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. So it's really good for automating the numbers, so you have them in hand quickly to coach up your salespeople or
Right.
see the numbers for marketing. How do you make sure, I guess maybe my question is, how do you make sure that once the system is operational, is it just a matter of having your people be trained on how it's working and what this function is to make sure, like, do you ever have doubts in your mind that the number, like there's a glitch somewhere, AI screwed it up or it hallucinated and these numbers aren't correct? Do you have a fail-safe for that?
So normally we're checking still manual check for at least 2 months. So like currently we're running 8 weeks of checks before we actually trust that number.
Gotcha.
Right. So I'm not just saying like, well, it's probably it. Right.
Yeah.
We're still running at least 8 weeks of checks. Currently it's 8 weeks to make sure that that's an actually correct number before we move on.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So in terms of the VAs that you hire to train the system, so do you guys use, like, is Claude your system of choice, or do you use Claude and Chat, or like, how do you choose which one to
Yeah,
use?
we use Claude and Chat both right now.
Okay. And is there a reason behind
And we
having
actually
two
use
instead of one?
Manus too.
Oh.
Yeah, they just are a little different. The one we build the most dashboards on is actually Manus. So I don't know if you've used Manus. Manus is freaking amazing. No one talks about Manus. So I used Manus and I used like $2,500 in tokens, and I built basically custom software for us to go to, right? I vibe coded the software. Now, this is software with zero foundation because I'm not a programmer. But what I did is I spent an ungodforsaken amount of time on it, building out this software exactly how I want it for exactly our Tip Top Canine workflows. And then I started shopping software developers to actually build it out. Right. So exactly like our specific workflows are for our business, how our call flows go, our text flows, everything, if it was automated exactly how I'd want it. And so we're going to take 5 systems and basically go into one. So I made that with Manus, and just telling it what to do, it codes it. Now, I don't like that. It codes it again. So then when I go to software developers, I'm already like, hey, here's my working prototype. Right. And so I spent $2,500 in tokens, but it's basically saved me 20 grand of them trying to figure out what I want. Because sometimes I would get what I wanted wrong, like 10 times in a row. Right. But I'm getting it wrong, and it's costing me $10 in code, $10 in tokens. So even now, so like yesterday, our operations manager and I met with the new software team who's creating this software, and they're able to look at this working prototype as like, hey, we built this, and this looks like this. Now, what do you want to do with the calendar? How are we going to do this, etc.? So Manus is freaking awesome. If you haven't checked it out, it's actually made for building things.
Wow. I see. Like, I haven't even heard of Manus. Okay. So that's a new one. So, but it doesn't dev out the software. It kind of helps you build the code for it. And then you still needed a physical human developer to build it out.
Yeah. So for our internal dashboards, we just use what Manus builds out. But for actual enterprise software for all of our locations. It's going to be robust that you can like debug and stuff, because the AI code is not like, I'm not a coder, but the AI code is not looking like what actual coders do. So
you still need a little bit of that human expertise, right?
Yeah. So basically, here's the model, but now I'm going to code it with actual normal coding protocols. So there's actual software we can connect stuff to. And if something breaks, I know how to go in and fix it, instead of, well, if it's AI coded, you could just snap it in half, and there's just no foundation in it.
Right. You still need that human nuance, right? The human touch, the human understanding of what this, this line of code serves this function, but what the AI might not pick up on is a piece of nuance that a human would be like, well, in this type of instance, when this customer does this, do you want that thing to automatically happen? You'd be like, oh, actually, I don't. Right. But AI wasn't going to pick up on that because it doesn't have the nuance, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. The human in the loop is still, I mean, we are not like, it'll get there, I'm sure, eventually, but we're going to keep trying to automate whatever we can. But some of it just has to stay human in the loop because it just doesn't get the nuance.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, and
definitely check out Manus.
Manus. Yeah. That's just the name of the tool. Is there a company, like, is there like an Anthropic type of company behind it? Or just Manus AI? Okay.
Yeah, Manus. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. I'm going to have to look that up after this one. All right. So are you saying the type of stuff like that Manus built and then you had a coder actually dev out, is that like your CRM, like your whole company wide, like the Bible software that everybody uses?
100%. So it's got a CRM base layer. It's got all my customer information. It pulls in all the UTM tracking, et cetera. The GCLID, all that stuff. So it pulls everything in from the website and Facebook ads. And then it's got invoicing. It's got the calendar. It's got automated text messages, everything basically built into one software. Dog profiles, like what QuickBooks does not have dog profiles, right?
Yeah.
And then at the same time, at the same time, it'll export to QuickBooks for accounting and for sales tax and stuff like that. So we'll have our own custom software that'll still export to QuickBooks, but it's built specifically because I spent an entire year only trying to work on new softwares because I'm like, hey, when we hit 40 locations, our current workflow is broken. Like we will have so many people just cleaning up stuff because a lot of it's manual. It has to get automated. It just has to be smoother. So I'm trying to take 5 tools like into one. And this is layering every single thing we do all into basically just one layer.
Wow. Okay. That's impressive. When you are hiring out VAs to do this, is there like if somebody is listening to this and like, this is genius, I need this in my style of business. Are there these VAs out there that it's their job to train AI or to build something using AI for your business in a custom way?
So that was me. So like I built that for 200 hours or whatever. I built the software prototype because I have the most context being in the business for 16 years. I know the workflows. What I'm handing to the VAs is different tasks that they don't need as much context for. And how I found mine is almost the same way we do our group interviews when we hire. I looked at like 200 something VAs and then I did like 4 or 5 different tests and went down to like 40 and then went down to 9. I gave them all a day's worth of paid tasks and be like, hey, answer these emails, answer these texts. How would you respond to this? How would you respond to this? And basically the person who's able to respond the fastest, the smartest, the least answers looking like AI, et cetera, that has a heavy tech background. That's who I hired. And nothing on her resume or anything talks about AI. But she's already been in CRM. She's using Notion. And for some reason, if I can find people that are like trained in Notion, they tend to be higher tech people. But I'm looking for people that are, they're used to Notion. They're used to Slack. They're used to multiple different CRMs. And then if they know how to think somewhat techie, I'm using them for coding and doing stuff with AI, but I'm not just saying like, oh, who likes to code stuff with AI?
Right. Be a little broad there.
Yeah. I'm looking for somebody who works hard, that's smart and techie, basically.
Yeah.
And then with like Claude and with chat, I'm like, okay, do this ChatGPT course and figure out the basics, do this Claude course, get the certification, just so I know you understand the basics. And then what I did is like with Charlie Hills or Ruben Hassid, That's two of the AI people I follow. I'm like, hey, here's your task for this week. Read these newsletters and read his website, watch his videos, and then teach it to me. So I have them learn it, them teach it to me, or them teach it to my team or a new person on our team to become AI proficient. But then for them to be able to teach it, they have to really know it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you find your VAs and how many do you have?
Currently, we have 2 Filipino ones and then 2 from India that mostly they're doing, until we automate it, mostly they're doing the reconfirmations, reaching out to people, making sure those appointments are still coming up, and they're doing all of our sales audits and stuff like that. So anything that's like 3 different systems are using that still has to be manual, that's what they're doing. And then the onlinejobs.ph is where you can find a lot of the higher end VAs.
Gotcha. Okay. And these VAs, when you say they're like confirming appointments and stuff, are they customer facing where they're on the phone making, phone call? No. Or is all
SMS? They're text only.
Okay.
So they're going through our software. We can still see them texting people, but basically that's it. It's basically, that is 100% just scripted. It's just like a reconfirm. That's it.
Yeah. Is that something that's been automated or could automate? Like, just like for anybody
that's software's coming in. That's where the software is coming in. There's just something we had to kick just a little bit because I need to make sure we'll answer thousands of phone calls a week. Right.
Yeah.
So we have thousands of phone calls, and they'll make thousands of outbound calls. So they're not even doing all of it. They're just doing part of it. But
yeah. Have you used or are you exploring AI agents like for these thousands of phone calls that come in, or it's all human based?
Yeah. So it's currently still all human based. The dog training is still a pretty emotional decision.
Yeah.
So like if someone's looking at like say private school for their kids and it was like an AI answering the call.
Don't want that.
Yeah. As far as a simple confirmation text, hey, you able to go in today, Mr. Jones? Like that would be AI in 6 months as soon as the software is built, because it just doesn't need that human touch. But on the phone, it's still going to be for a while until it's more mainstream. The other reason for the software though, is it's not even an option without the right software. So unless everything is in a box and all your calendar, invoicing, CRM is all together, it's going to be very hard to attach the agent to it and the agent have enough context.
Right.
So the use case for us is going to be those nights and weekends when it's going to roll to voicemail anyways. That's the best time for us to start training an agent on how to answer the phone. Because if someone does call, say I get one call after 8 p.m., but I consistently get a call after 8 p.m., right? I can't staff that manually, but the cost for me to have an AI rollover agent handle that phone call is very, very low. And if my average sale is $2,400, it's worth it for me to put an agent on for pennies at the dollar. And if they, leave one if you want to leave a voicemail, press 2 if you'd like to book with one of our AI agents. With average sale and the cost of tokens going down, that's going to be worth it, but I need the right system to be able to do that. So that's why we're coding. And that's there basically right now. It's some people are using it if they have like with Service Titan or one of those, it can already do it.
So, and this is also, speaking of Service Titan, this is saving you thousands of dollars a year in having to purchase a CRM from a Service Titan or a HubSpot or, insert one of the bajillions of Correct. CRMs that are out there today.
It is. It's going to save us money, but there's still going to be a cost to it. The thing is so even if this is there's an estimated cost we already have that we'll have to add to our locations. But the thing is this is going to take a lot of pressure off of our owners. So as far as their commission reports for their employees, sales reports, everything as much as we can for the owner is going to be automated, built into the software. So the part of the goal is to, I have software that AI can use. I have software that's more efficient with our workflow. But the other part is I want to take work off of our owners. Like in the beginning, we have a high revenue, but a lot of our locations will still go on wait lists, right? Or a lot of our location owners are multi-unit owners. And if I can take more work off of the owner, then they can expand and they can do more.
Right. Absolutely. So you mentioned the cost. There's still definitely a cost involved here. And you talked about tokens for a hot second. Do a deep dive with me on that. What does the cost look like when you're using Claude or Chat in terms of, and how, if people aren't perfectly familiar with that, how do tokens work? How much do they cost? How much work can you get out of a token? Help me fill in those blanks.
Yeah, so I have no idea. So I know
Perfect.
Claude, we're on like the 100. Most of our people are on the $20 one. Myself and my top VA is on the $120 one. Chat, we're all on the 20, and the VA has the extra bumps when she needs it. Manus tokens, depending on which one you use, the super creative ones, those are really expensive. So basically they say, hey, so it's ChatGPT. It's like $25 for 20,000 tokens. And depending on what type of reasoning you use, the cost goes up if speed or intelligence used goes up. So the more complex the AI reasoning model is, then the more tokens you use. It's basically my understanding, not an expert.
And are tokens used, like, are they just setting kind of their conversion rate where like 1 hour doing this type of work costs 1,000 tokens or 100 tokens? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, good question. So for instance, and this is my understanding, so take it with a grain of salt. Claude, for instance, they have Fable and Opus and Sonnet and Haiku. So they have 4 different reasoning models that have different speeds and different depths of intelligence that they're using. And when it's using more power, using more reasoning, then it costs you more tokens. So say I have 1,000 tokens, I might be able to use Haiku and it spits out answers real fast and they're pretty good. And I might use Opus or Fable and they're much higher, but they might cost me 4 times as much.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And then are these things, once these automations, these systems are built, are you still paying for, like, is it expounding tokens with every usage or throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month? Or is it, hey, this little system costs us 20,000 tokens. It might've been $5,000, but whatever, we get to use it now and it doesn't cost that. How does that work?
So the building out using coding it is normally costing lots of tokens, and then to recurrently run it normally doesn't use that many tokens. So for me to build out, like I built out that prototype, like I said, it was like $2,500. But for me to make calendar entries, invoice people, etc., on my prototype is like pennies. So if I give it a prompt and it builds for 15 minutes without me touching it, that's what's actually starting to cost a lot of money.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So once your system's in place, I want to ask you about how this operates across all your locations, because it's really important that, or tell me if I'm wrong, but everyone needs to be on the same page as franchisees. Are they all singing from the same hymn book? Is everybody using all these automations, using this CRM that you created for yourself, or is it by a case-by-case basis?
So, the CRM is not, we've kicked it to the software development team. And so they're currently building it out for everyone to use.
Okay,
and then we'll roll it out. So I built the prototype, but I'm not a coder. It was like an 80% model. It's 80% there. I couldn't figure out the calendar. I could make it look kind of like I want to, but I can't figure out the code behind it, et cetera. Right? So it's 80% there, and then it's kicked to an actual team who's building it out for everyone to use. Now, as far as most of our locations go, our goal with them, like I said earlier, is output. I want them to train dogs, sell dog training, grow and manage team, and make profit. And so as much as possible, we're not encouraging them to just build away on AI, right? They have a working business model, and the goal of a Tip Top Canine is to make money. So they don't really, if they want to build 83 dashboards, that's fine. But the issue I see is they build 83 dashboards and their sales team, for instance, is selling below average, or their boot camp dogs are 2-week boot camp is running 3 weeks, and they're wasting time not being able to do what they're supposed to do in their business. Building the dashboards is like playing with Legos while you're at work. You're not actually working. You're playing. You're not doing something that's making money. Like, you're just leaving money on the table, and the point of business is to actually make money.
Yeah, exactly. So is each individual business, are they having the dashboards that you made, like at the corporate level, those get disseminated and get to be used by the franchisees, right?
Most of them, they're just used for coaching right now.
Just used for coaching. Okay, Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Alrighty. Impressive. All right. So
a lot of ours currently have no interest in most of AI.
Really?
And that's totally fine. Yeah.
Huh. All right.
Some of them do. Some of them don't. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess what type of leash, pun intended, do the franchisees have in terms of doing what they need to do to make that money? Like, are they following, is there a playbook that they have to follow in order to do that? And that it doesn't necessarily include that stuff, or what does that look like?
Yeah. So most of it is basically like, hey, we run marketing. They get leads. Our call center books leads on their calendar. They go out and sell dog training, and then they fulfill that dog training with either private lessons in a consumer's home or a boot camp where they take and train the dog. So the biggest numbers that they need to worry about are those conversion numbers, like, hey, is their sales team selling 50 to 60%? Is their average sale at least $2,400? If so, check. If not, nothing else matters. Fix that issue, right? Number two, your lessons. Are you getting a 5-star review at 95% of your lessons, your private lessons? And your boot camp dogs, are they on time, right? Are you efficient with your time? Or if all your dogs take 30 to 50% longer than they should, you have a training issue and you're just leaking profit somewhere, right? So if you imagine if I was like, hey, I'm your Uber driver. I drove you to your destination, but I drove twice around as long instead of a straight line. I made this big circle. I would like you to pay me double. I'd be like, no, get out of here, dude.
Yeah.
Not a chance. And that's what sometimes happens in a service-based business. Someone's like, well, I'd like to be paid double because I took twice as long. But whether it's dog training or HVAC or anything, if you're not doing your job, I don't care, right? So what I really need to happen is, here's your expectations. I'm going to coach you on how to do them. And then I need the locations to hold them accountable. Because if they can hit whatever their metrics are, then they're going to make profit. And if not, they have to have hard conversations with their people and coach them to do it or let them go.
Right. Absolutely. Let's shed some light on what your franchises look like. Is it usually a single operator? Do they have employees or contractors that work with them? How does it look at a store level?
The store level is basically, we have two models. I have self-employed people, or sometimes they'll have 2 or 3 employees, but basically the owner's running most of the ops. And then I have facility-based locations where most of the people that own facilities, a lot of them will have 2 or 3 locations, and they have bigger teams, somewhere 4 to 15 people. So we have in-home, smaller, and sometimes people stay that way because they want to, because they enjoy the work. Like I did that for a very long time. I didn't want to grow because I loved dog training and I loved the craft and didn't want to put the leash down. And then sometimes people are like, hey, this is just a business. It's a business where I'm passionate about, but at the same time, I have to embrace the sales model. I have to embrace the service model, the marketing model, do those, and then it kicks profit to the back end.
Right. Okay. So are the majority of your franchisees, are they solo operators? Like where they get to do the in-home, kind of like where you said, I didn't want to put the leash down? Or do you think a lot of them are more the business oriented where they're like, this is great and I like the training, but I want to be an operator?
Yeah, a third of our location owners are, it's them or them to 3 people. And then 2/3 are more facility, and I have a team and a real operation.
Gotcha. Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
And then to be a franchisee with you, do you have to have a lot of dog training experience, or can you, as long as you have a passion for it, you can be trained into it?
Yeah, as long as you have a passion for dog training, anyone can do this business, as long as they can walk and chew gum. So one of our more successful location owners in Oklahoma City, his name is Seth Flint. He was a youth pastor before this, right? So no real dog training experience. We have realtors, graphic designers, pest control sales, all sorts. And then we have some people with dog experience. But not everyone. Our last 2 locations we sold, they did have dog training experience, but the last 5 before that had 0. So it's not required. We do a 6-week initial training program where they come to Tulsa, Oklahoma. We train them 10 hours a day for 6 weeks, fully trained. And then they go out and do their own thing and we support them.
Wow. Very cool. Yeah. Okay. And so what's required to start a franchise, to become a franchisee?
Yeah, so the initial franchise fee is $48,000. And that includes the 6 weeks of training. And then they have to literally come here for 6 weeks. Our initial marketing budget's $15,000 to be used within 90 days to kind of bump them, into the stratosphere trying to get some lead flow going. I mean, you're familiar with the digital ads game. So sometimes a cold startup, it takes a bit to get some traction. So we try to launch them up. But the biggest thing is it's 48 grand in 6 weeks in Tulsa.
Okay. I mean, all things considered, that's still a fairly low bar to entry, right? Like there's ways you can get creative with financing too, right?
Yeah, we have some finance partners. From the franchise space, it's very low. Most franchisors use brokers, and they're splitting half of the franchise fee with a broker. So for instance, two of our top competitors, they use brokers and their fees are like 120 to 150. So then they're basically taking half of that fee and giving it to a salesperson, and then using half of that fee for the initial training. Wow. Our goal is we want to make it accessible to new entrepreneurs or people who may not be able to qualify for that 150 grand, but are more than likely probably way hungrier. And then we have very, very low turnover. So in the last 7 years, the two that have left, one guy literally was having brain surgery, right? Like he had multiple brain surgeries and him and his wife had to close down. Totally understandable. Yeah. Another guy, he felt called and went to seminary and someone else took over his location.
Okay.
Right. So, I mean, so stuff like that happens. We're always going to have turnover, but for the most part, we have very little turnover. So we're looking for really high quality people, not just to scale as fast as we possibly can, because we support the people. And overall, like in DFW, we have 9 locations. So we really want to make sure that it's open to people who are going to promote the brand.
And what is, I think at the top of the episode, you mentioned kind of what the top line average looks like for one of these franchisees. What can one expect to look at in terms of top line, in terms of bottom line, take home? What does that look like for an average franchisee?
Yeah, so take home varies because it depends on the franchisee's actual goals. So I may have 2 people, say before in the past, we had 2 people and I know one month they had almost identical revenue. That was in Michigan and one that was in Idaho. But what happened is the person in one area, their goal is they want to work 25, 30 hours a week. And in the other area, they're like, hey, I want to stack cash. So they had the exact same gross revenue in 1 month, but one had twice as many employees. So definitely, they just had different goals. Top line gross revenue last year for the locations that were open for the full year, the gross revenue was $612,190 for all the locations that were open. And now, obviously, the individual results may differ. High end for a facility was, let me see if I have the number over here, $735,186. So that's for ones that have a facility is definitely a bigger jump, where with no facility, if you're home-based, the average was $401,339. And those are all from our FDD, our franchise disclosure document. People can request that. Those are the in-print numbers that obviously I have to say the individual results may vary, but those are kind of the top and bottom tiers for facility, home-based, and our overall average.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a very healthy business. You know, that's a mid 6 figures. It's a good place to be.
Yeah. Yeah. So the goal of a Tip Top Canine is to make money. Because if you open a business and you spend time training and you don't make money, like you have a weird little hobby that you're just doing to punish yourself. Right. The goal of business is to make money, and you have to make money, or why are you doing it?
Right. Exactly. And those are the type of people you call in too, the ones that have the buy-in to go and make that money. Nobody lazy's coming in and working at Tip Top.
No.
Heck no.
So we just had a guy, he opened up in Humble, Texas. He was a D1 quarterback, and then he went to West Point, right? And then he went to West Point. He's a captain in the Army. He had an injury. He was doing his own dog training business for 2 years. And then he was like, man, this is hard. But like, we're talking an A player. Like if you set rushing records as a D1 quarterback and you go to West Point and you're a captain in the Army, you got your stuff together. Mm-hmm. But he's having to answer the phone, do the marketing, order the products, manage his calendar, etc. And we do all that for him. And then he's just doing what he's passionate about. And so he came on the Tip Top team and he's like, well, this is great, right? He's still working hard. Everything is going to be hard, And it's just choose your heart. So if you'd rather have the heart of, I want to manage a team of 5 people, than I want to figure out everything on my own, you still got to choose your heart.
I think that's a great message for anybody who's weighing the pros and cons between starting your own thing and, going from scratch and doing it on your own versus buying into a franchise and something that you already know you're passionate or good with, right? It totally depends on who you are. Because some people are like, I cannot, if I'm not calling the shots, if I'm not building it, I can't do it. Versus, I just love doing the craft and I don't necessarily want to get bogged down with all the details. Huge difference.
Huge difference. Yeah. I think our 2 top operators, one has said, hey, I would do a cotton candy business if I thought I was going to make a lot of money. Right. Mm-hmm. And the other one also operates a bathroom remodeling franchise and a hair salon. Right. They're just operators. They're looking for, hey, I want to do something. I want to put in my money and get some money out. Right. They're looking for a business model that they can just operate, that has restrictions, that already has this overarching theme, that they're not recreating everything from the ground up. And I think that is powerful, because creating it from the ground up is painful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not for the faint of
heart.
heart.
It's good, but it's painful.
Right. Absolutely. You can cut out a lot of the steps to get towards the top by buying in as a franchisee. Awesome. Well, Ryan, as we put a bow on this episode, is there anything I'm not asking you or that you wish people would ask you about, whether it's, the VAs and how you're using it and managing that in your business, or growing a franchise such as yours? What am I not asking you?
I think based off your audience, what the audience probably needs to hear is, if they're starting their business and they're in those early phases, the biggest mistake that I'm constantly seeing with new entrepreneurs is how they hire and manage new people. So this is not fancy. There's no software. There's no AI, VAs, anything else. This is just like you, the person who started the business. What you need to do from day one with new people, no matter what your business is you have to set expectations with them. This is the standard. This is what winning looks like in this business. And then 2, you have to coach them on how to meet that standard. And then 3, you have to go, okay, cool. Now it's time for accountability. Let's come look at the scoreboard. What's your sales percentages? What's your time at this job? What's your efficiency rate? Whatever your metrics are. And then in the beginning, they're going to miss those. And you're going to go back to coaching and help them hit those metrics. And then at some point, there has to be hard conversations. Most new business owners don't get to those hard expectations, coaching, accountability. They don't get there for 4 or 5 years. Instead, they hire people they know and they like, and it crushes them early. What they needed to do actual hard interviews, they need to have expectations for people at interviews as soon as they need to hire, and never hire family or friends. If you know them, do not hire them. That's what I think the new entrepreneur really needs to hear.
Because you have to be able to fire them.
You got to be able to fire them.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to hire someone that's going to need to be fired. And if you don't fire them, you're going to work twice as hard and you're going to hate yourself.
Yep. I love that. Well, I think that's a perfect place to bring this plane down to the landing runway here. So, Ryan, thank you again, man. Really appreciate it. This was a ton of fun.
Absolutely.
I want to make sure before I let you go, anybody, if they want to get in contact with you, they want to check out possibly being a franchisee, they want to learn from you, or maybe they got a dog who needs some training and they need to find a tip-top canine, what are all the best ways to do that?
Absolutely. If you want to get information on dog training or buying a franchise, just go to tiptopcanine.com. It's tiptopk9.com. If you want to connect with me about anything or have any questions about the stuff, I'm on LinkedIn. That's where I communicate the most. So shoot me a message on LinkedIn. Be more than happy to help.
All right. Awesome. Ryan, thank you again, man. This was a ton of fun, and we wish you nothing but the best this year and beyond.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brian.